Well, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Struggle Session at HorrorCon VR.
Wow, this is in VR?
This is in virtual reality, Jack.
Wow.
People are inside our rooms with us right now.
Incredible. I feel the mayor.
I am Leslie the Third.
I'm Jack Allison.
I'm Emma Bowers.
I'm Shannon Strucci.
And today, actually, for people who don't follow Struggle Session, we should introduce ourselves. So we're a podcast that talks about the intersection of politics and pop culture, which basically means that if you are a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a fascist, a transphobe, you are not allowed to watch this. I'm sorry. You are not welcome here.
Unfortunately.
I want to be very clear about that just right off the bat. But if that's okay with you, we're going to get started and talk a little bit about Junji Ito. Junji Ito, one of, if not the greatest minds in horror going today. I am such a huge fan of his. I'm so excited to talk about him and his work. And we brought on a very special guest to talk about Junji Ito with us today. She is a writer, an editor, a critic. She is the creator of the Freak Museum. Lana Polanski, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Leslie. I'm honored that you invited me. I'm a little surprised.
Oh, of course, because I know you know a lot about manga, anime, and Junji Ito. But let's get kind of like a baseline. Like, what has been everyone's experience with Junji Ito in their lives? Jack, you can go first.
Oh, sure. So I really, before this, had only read Junji Ito sort of collections of shorts, anthology books. This was my first time reading like big, long Junji Ito sort of narratives, anything beyond the sort of short story. But I had read a decent amount. I had read Uzumaki before, and I had read Shiver before those collections.
Cool. And Emma?
So I was familiar with Junji Ito. I'd read some of the more popular short stories. Some of them will probably address going in. And then last year, you, me, and Pretty Bad Lefty covered Uzumaki. And that was the first time I think I really divulged into Junji Ito. And I mention this every time, because every time you hit us up in the DMs and you're like, I'm making a list of horror movies and stuff. And I'm like, I'm staying out of this. I'm a big wuss. I get scared very easily. But I absolutely enjoyed Junji Ito so much, and I felt like we had a little bit of a crunch because you basically were like, these are the ones I want you to read, and I spent 48 hours in the world of Junji
that's
Ito.
all of us. We've all now read so much Junji Ito over this past week. It is, Shannon, you were saying before the show, it's like now you close our eyes and just see abject horrors.
It's
too much.
No, I sit there in my day-to-day life and I say, oh, what inconsequential item could just warp and mutilate my body beyond recognition?
Yeah, that's what I was going for when I told you all in the past 48 hours to read all that Junji Ito. I wanted your minds properly warped to talk about this man. Because as you mentioned, he is the guy who finds the horror in every single everyday life. Object, even cats, right? Perfect segue here. So that is Junji Ito. That is him holding his real cat, which he wrote a manga about. Now, I have to admit, people are going to be mad at me for this. I did not have time to read his cute cat manga.
I've read that. I told you, I've read that 6 times. It's my favorite thing he's written. I love it so much. It's not scary. It's just really cute and funny.
Yeah, that cat on the right, that's from is from one of his horror stories, but it just shows, and like that's like some fucked up bug creature that he created. It's so gross and nasty. But that's the duality of Junji Ito. There's lots of memes about how in his real life he's just this normal everyday guy. He used to be like a dental hygienist,
Yeah.
like just the most unassuming.
Oh, I
guy.
love, in any collection where they have a little wrap up by Junji Ito when he like tells like how he thought of the story. It's always like seems so nice. He's like, I thought it might be frightening, to see your own face really large, and that just went in my head, and then I had a lot of fun drawing it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Lana, what's been your history with Junji Ito?
Okay, well, don't judge me for this, but I found Junji Ito kind of by way of Eroguro, which
Okay.
is Japanese
Makes sense.
grotesque erotic art style, popularized by people like Toshio Seki and a number of ukiyo-e artists. And I wouldn't describe like Junji Ito's body of work as Eroguro, really. Even if it's like grotesque, it's not. I wouldn't really describe it as being as a part of that kind of like more erotic, explicitly erotic canon. Although I do think that sexuality does play a pretty important role in his work.
Mm-hmm. That's
Comes
part
up
of
a
what.
lot.
Yeah, Lana, that's actually kind of a part of what I wanted to talk about today. Is that Junji Ito, obviously heavily influenced by H.P. Lovecraft, who is possibly the least or most weirdly horny writer of all
No,
time.
he's horny.
But he's weirdly horny. He's
All
weirdly
his
Weirdly
horny.
horny.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
horniness is about not being horny, about sublimating
Yeah.
the horniness. While Junji Ito, really, really dives into the horny factor.
Yeah.
Like some of horniness is actually like the monster in a lot
Yeah.
of these stories. Actually, if you don't mind me jumping ahead a little bit to the human chair. This short story entirely about how monstrous it is to be horny, but it was actually not written by Junji Ito. This was
No.
actually by Edogawa Rampo, who is like a contemporary of Lovecraft, maybe even a little bit earlier. And his name, it might sound a little bit familiar because it's a play on how you would say Edgar Allan Poe in Japanese. And he's a really excellent writer. I recommend people, if you like Junji Ito stuff, check it out because he is like very, very like dark and creepy, and all these stories are from like the 1920s and stuff, and it's like really shocking how like sexual and gross and grotesque is. And the human chair is a pretty good example of this story where this woman where is this long multi-generational horniness actually tale of these people who become upset. This guy who becomes obsessed with this woman. He's a chair maker, so he creates a chair that he can sit in while she sits in it without her knowing it. And it's just so creepy. And you see the money shot at the end where the woman who's hearing this story gets delivered a new chair with a guy in it.
Yeah.
It comes up in Ito in one of those fragments of horror stories, the one about the woman who's in love with the house.
Yes, she's like rubbing herself on the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
She sort of becomes one with it.
Yeah. Shannon, what's been your history with Junji Ito?
I got some of the Viz volumes of Uzumaki and Gyo probably when they first came out, like 10, 15 years ago. And I read a bunch of that, and I've read the Enigma of Amigara Fault multiple times over the years, and some other random shorts. And like I said, my favorite thing that up until now, reading all this other stuff, my favorite thing that I had read of his was the cat manga. Because I just love cats, and I thought it was very like his sense of humor comes through in a lot of his stories, but that one is mostly just like an autobiographical comedy volume with a lot of scary looking cats in it. But yeah, I always thought he was like one of the best horror artists, best horror authors, and I've never read all of Gyo, I think, but I think I read all of Uzumaki and some of Gyo like a long time ago.
Oh, Gyo's really good. And for as you can tell already, like we're already like 10 minutes into this, and we only done one story. So unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff we
There's
won't
so
be able
much.
to get
Too much to
into.
get through, yeah.
Gyo, Frankenstein. I'm very sorry I had to put those on the chopping block. We'll do another one of these.
Yeah.
I
Let's
read
do
it
that.
anyway, though. I know you said we didn't have to, but I read Gyo anyway because
cool.
it's like
It's good.
I should say, like, Gyo is it's not most people's favorite, but it is mine.
Oh, what? So Gyo, we can talk about it a little bit briefly. So Gyo is a pretty one of his longer ones, and it's where all the fish of the sea die and get mechanical legs and come on shore and just start eradicating people, just like straight up like destroying them. Actually, Jack, if you could see if you can pull up on YouTube, there's an anime. There might be a clip, that good clip that we can show. What did you like about Gyo, Lana?
So what I really like about Gyo, first of all, I love like body horror. And this is one of the most disgusting comics I've ever read. It's like viscerally disgusting. You can almost smell it.
Oh yeah.
I remember eating while reading it, and that was a mistake.
Oh,
this is like 15
no.
years ago. I was eating a sandwich, and I was like, no.
Yeah, no, it's like an entire book of British meals. It's hideous. But what I also like about it is that it's one of the more explicitly political, I think, of his work.
yes, that was something I noticed too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pull out anything specifically about this, but we talk about politics on this show. And one of the animating things about Junji Ito, which I think is fairly common among Japanese creators, is an anti-war message. Like when people ask him what's the scariest thing, he says war is the scariest thing, which I feel like Americans think we were all grown up in a generation where being anti-war was considered cheesy or like not patriotic or French, but I really do enjoy like the politics of Junji Ito because it's very anti-war, and a lot of the stories, there's a through line of understanding like class and wealth inequality. Like a lot of the horror that people experience in his stories are the horrors that people face when they're undergoing poverty. And he mentioned that there's this thing called a cricket spider. And when he grew up, his family was pretty poor, and so they didn't have a bathroom like in the house. They had like an outhouse, and he had to go in a dark tunnel through like a dark tunnel with like all these bugs, these cricket spiders that are just like the creepiest looking.
Oh, they're like
thing.
this big, right? I think we have them in Georgia. They're similar. They're like big.
Now look this
Yeah,
up.
like they're big and they're nasty, and that really kind of makes it like. Yeah, let me see if I can.
Let's see.
I have a little
Cave
clip
crickets.
of the
Yeah.
Tokyo fish attack in Gyo from the
Okay.
from the
Yes,
anime.
yes. All right.
Go-
Yeah.
Hopefully the
Yeah.
sound will work. I can't confirm, but let's see.
Let's see.
Is that working for you?
I don't hear it, but
I don't hear it, but I see it.
Oh, we can see it.
There
we
we
can
go.
just look a little bit at it then.
like oh god, Gyo, the
Delicious.
the anime is pretty good, but the manga, like you get so much
Wow.
more detail.
I have a photo saved of the shark. So
God.
Oh god, it is so gross. It's so nasty and sexual and just so dark, and like again with the politics too. Like he brings just so much to the table in all his stories, all this stuff. So let's see what else we can talk about. All right, so one thing I think Ito is very well known for is kind of doing these social horror stories, these social contagion stories. I liken them to Kiyoshi Kurosawa's both Cure and Pulse. Also, The Grudge too. Like a lot of that common Japanese horror. One Missed Call. Basically, all the Japanese ghost stories. The premise is kind of like the supernatural can infect you and the world, and anytime you connect with other people, there's a chance of it peeking through and destroying you. So Earthbound is one story that I personally really liked, where people are basically T-posing for no reason. And people can't figure it out. Is it a meme? Is it like something for TikTok? But it turns and they feel like rooted to the ground, and they do this weird thing where they go these places, and what you find out is these are places where they did something evil or awful. The main storyline is this woman who works in her office, and her boss, she didn't know this, it was her boss that sexually assaulted her and traumatized her, and he shows up at her apartment like that because he is rooted to the place where he committed his evil deed. And there's always like a deep sense of morality throughout most of Junji Ito's stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another one. In the similar vein,
Oh.
Billions Alone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Billions Alone is one of the ones that as we were reading this week struck me as like extremely COVID. It's very coronavirus.
There's two that we're probably going to talk about that are.
Yeah, it's next up too. So that's Billions Alone.
So Billions Alone is an absolutely horrifying tale that again strikes rings so real right now, which is basically like if you get within around 6 feet of someone, you get sewn to them automatically. And that image you see that Leslie was showing a moment ago is basically what a large gathering kind of ends up looking like in a forest there.
It's a super spreader event.
Yeah, that was the Amy Coney Barrett event.
We were talking a little bit about this though, because I think like constantly in these, like kind of things that are, like I said, it's sort of social horror, but especially like reading it now, you're like, that's an allegory for the coronavirus, even though it was written, like 5 years ago. What I find interesting is it sort of takes its time with the people kind of realizing the event, realizing what's causing these things to happen, or at least the consequences of it, and then kind of violating them anyway, because human nature kind of wins over, safety and priority. And I was saying this earlier, I was saying in a Junji Ito comic, you don't necessarily survive it. But if these stories took place in America, each panel it would be like 2 panels long, and that'd be it. Like they would all go out of the house immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that panel where the woman is like, "I'm so alone in my apartment." I'm like, "Oh, feel that." I'm not going to end up sewn in the forest to like 500 people.
He's like, "I'll come and see you, just you and me. It'll be fine." No, don't.
There's a real through line in a lot of his work of people becoming sort of de-individuated by forming part of like a formless mass.
Yeah.
So that happens in Uzumaki. It happens in Billions Alone. It happens. The one about the guy who had summoned the devil, and everybody who comes into contact with him turns into soup.
Yes.
So there's a lot of these sort of like mass traumatic events that absorb any person who comes into contact with it. It kind of reminded me of, I think it's a big thing in any sort of like post-occupation Japanese horror will tend to try to deal with one inarticulated mass trauma that's come back to haunt people. And the other being a massive traumatic event that was indescribable when it happened. And I think it's pretty easy to connect the dots there with why that comes up so much.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. And so the next story I kind of talk
Yes.
about the other COVID tale, Hanging Blimp. Oh, sorry, I misspelled it on the slide. But yeah, Hanging Blimp. It is a story about...
Sorry, someone in the comments brought up something interesting.
Oh yeah, we're coming. We're
like
coming
too. Yeah, absolutely.
We got you.
It's true.
But yeah, so this one is about, people are going outside, and it's so weird and so specific to Ito. And he just said, like, he just got this idea, like, what if this would happen? That's basically all of his ideas are just him looking at like a balloon or a toy car, or
like, what if it was scary?
or like a cupcake, and being like, what the fuck? What if
someone wanted to fuck this cupcake and then they died?
Yeah. And so,
well, this story was so good because he said originally he thought of it just as an image, that would open a story where some other scary thing was happening. But I actually like it so much better as a like physical threat. In this story, Hanging Blimp, people basically get attacked by blimps of their own head with a noose attached to it that like swoop down and trap them in the noose and kill them.
My favorite thing in this, and we were talking about this earlier, is I don't know how much like Junji Ito is really into like the satire, but there is a scene where they've basically been like, you cannot leave your house because these like balloon heads will hang you. If you try to like shoot or kill them, like you'll explode simultaneously.
Yeah.
They're unstoppable. They're all in their house. And the Japanese businessman dad's like, well, I have to go to work.
Yeah.
I love this. The Japanese, the dad. Well, and that again, that just felt so COVID to me. It's like we're here at like, it's a family. They're like begging him not to go. He's like, I'll go. I have like, he puts his hands up like this, and he just immediately gets snagged and killed. It's so much fun, and again, just like felt so COVID-y.
Yeah, and the other, maybe his most famous story, and certainly one of the most memed about now, the Enigma of Amigara Faults, where there's an earthquake that reveals this fault line where all these holes appear shaped like people, and people start noticing that the holes are shaped like individual persons, including themselves, and they start finding their holes, and they feel this irresistible urge to climb in them.
I would go in mine. I would have to go in mine. If I found a hole that was exactly my shape, I would have to go check out what the hell's going on with that.
I would have at least a week of those dreams people haven't. Like it calls out to me. I'd be like, no, and then I would eventually. You can't really fight it.
I feel like it would really help the tension in my back until it wouldn't.
Yeah, really.
Good
There's a part of me, and I'm like, oh wow, that is really good.
Me going into Amigara Fault. Haha, this rules.
Yeah.
Leaving Amigara Fault. This
Me
sucks.
leaving.
Yeah, the holes do fuck you up, but at least you have found your place in the world. And I think that's kind of what this story is about. Like everybody is trying to find where their place, what they're fit in, and they're willing to destroy themselves and their bodies in order to figure this out. And at the end, they just end up being like noodles or something like that.
Yeah,
Noodle
so
monsters.
that everyone's whole basically sort of comes out on the other side as like a sort of all twisted and fucked up. So you basically just slide through Amigara Fault until you're like twisted and fucked up.
Yeah, and next, so that's one of his most famous stories, but I think it's time to talk about his hands down probably most famous creation. And that is, of course, the lovely Tomie.
Tomie.
So, what does everybody think about Tomie?
I feel like Tomie was not like written over and over. He didn't like write like Tomie. It's supposed to be, I feel like you're kind of like, oh, he wrote another Tomie story.
Yes.
But when you read them like nonstop, it becomes, I said this, I was like, this feels like a rejected plot for an Animaniacs character. I just feel like it's just like, it's the same, like, and I think it's intentional, but reading it over and over, it's like the same beats over and over. And it's Tomie, and Tomie is really hot, and Tomie is a wicked woman, and she drives men to lust and then eventually murder, usually Tomie being the victim.
Yeah.
And I'd almost be like relieved if someone like avoided Tomie's like evil feminine wiles.
I mean, you can't resist Tomie. That's the tagline.
Tomie has two superpowers, which is first that you can't resist Tomie, but then also like regeneration.
Yes.
And that's what's so fascinating about the Tomie stories is that it's like it is not so much just like the succubus story or whatever. It's also this other weird thing of examining like what it would mean if someone could regenerate from any part of their body, and you take that out and widen that out to its logical conclusion, I guess.
And I kind of love those ones where people kind of realize like Tomie has to be stopped, and it goes into just like madness, just like Tomie, like, you know, proverbially getting thrown into meat grinders and stuff, just chopping up, like just trying to eliminate her. And
Tomie is like the Roadrunner. She's like the Roadrunner.
I had never read any Tomie until like last night,
Oh,
and I read
cool.
all of it.
Oh wow!
And I really liked it. Something I really, really liked is the fact that if a man is not attracted to her, she gets angry.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool, like very human, very vain aspect, because there's like the guy with the dead wife and then the ugly brother who she bullies. And I thought it like, rather than her just being like a succubus, there's also that element of the vanity. And I really liked it, and I some of the stories were really funny, like the babysitter that rides the Tomie baby rides the babysitter like a horse, just like weird stuff like that. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I there's always, you know, a turn with Tomie where you see how she really is, how she really looks, just so gross. There's so much gross stuff. That's the caterpillar one from the haunted mansion. There's one where Tomie gets decapitated and her head grows back wrong.
The hair one.
The hair one. I didn't clip that one. It's so gross. The one on the left here, that's from the one where she dates the supermodel and like she cuts up his face because she's like thinks he thinks he's hot shit. Like she's mad about it. And so she cuts up her face and then he cuts up hers, and that's what happens. A bunch of Tomie's sprout from her. It's just so like they do so much interesting like gross stuff with him. Like almost every Tomie story, you get a new scare or gross out moment. It's one of my favorite characters in all of manga.
Yeah. No, and I was really struck by, you know, sort of reading all the Tomies in a row was pretty wild. It does take on the quality of a saga after a period of time.
Yeah, I mean, you just get a really good sense. Like a lot of the, you know, his stories are one off, and Junji does say he prefers telling one story at a time. One short story. Sorry, folks. Just, did somebody add a new guest to the chat?
I
Did you
thought
send
you
the
did.
link out? I didn't send the link out.
I thought you did.
Are we being bombed?
I asked a few people to join as guests, but I don't know. Lana, is this? Did you add someone on?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey
hello.
there.
How are you a listener of the show? Are you a fan? Who?
Weren't you guys just talking about me? I'm Tomie.
Oh, Tomie.
Oh, you're
Enchanté.
You're Tomie.
Yeah, I thought, you guys were talking about me. I heard my name.
Wow.
So like, hey,
Wow,
cool.
that's
Okay.
that's
I
so
thought you guys
nice of
Wow.
you.
It's pretty cool to be around like the actual real deal Tomie.
I mean,
This was supposed to be a 5-person panel. How did you get?
Oh, Shannon, hold on.
Okay. Let's
Tomie.
not.
I do want to
What's
say
with
we
the
were talking
aggression?
about you, but I have to say Emma and Jack were saying a lot of nasty.
No, I
things.
wasn't.
No.
No, I wasn't at all.
They
I
were
was-
saying Lana
Nasty.
too,
Nasty.
Lana and Shannon. They were all
Nasty,
saying
nothing,
such nasty
nothing at all,
things
nothing at
about
all.
you.
No, no, no.
That-
I
We're
can get-
just saying
no.
nasty things
No.
about
I can talk to the
me.
horror VR
Tomie,
rep. I don't
no,
understand what's
no.
happening.
Okay.
No,
So-
you know how I feel about you. Like, no, these two, they are men. They are disrespectful. I would
Yeah.
never disrespect you like that, Tomie.
Yeah, and
Woman
actually,
respecter.
Thank you.
you know, Leslie is really trying to drive a wedge through everybody, and so I would never make an ultimatum like Leslie and Emma both did. So
What?
really, it's like I kind of have the respect for you, to sort of make
You
your
guys
own
are acting
decision.
really weird. I don't.
Shannon,
Can
be
we get back on
quiet.
topic?
Shannon, please.
Please,
No,
like you
okay.
were
Get out of
like,
this.
Yeah.
you,
We
you
are
It's
tried
supposed to be like an
to
every
educational
actual-
panel. This is supposed to be like a
Tomie-
discussion panel. We're not supposed to be bombed by
Well,
like
but then,
random people. This is
Tomie
weird.
shows up.
Came in here and you're gonna act like
How
How dare you?
You're
How dare you?
disrespectful, Tomie. Like very
About
disrespectful,
me.
Shannon.
We were
Very
talking
disrespectful.
about her.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you would
Yeah, and we-
appreciate my presence since you're talking
and
about
we
me.
do.
I certainly do.
and-
We do very much. We really do.
Thank you so
I
much.
apologize for everyone else
Tomie,
except me, who is apparently very ungrateful that you showed up right now.
I'm
very,
sorry, all
very
these people are here.
Very
Tell
ungrateful.
me, actually, you know what? I will just talk to you later. These I don't want
we
you.
need to. We haven't even gotten to Uzumaki
Wait.
yet. We have like how long is this panel? supposed to be
Uzumaki doesn't
going?
matter.
I don't
Tomie
know.
is
This panel
here.
is not important. This
Uzumaki
panel
is
is
the
not
most
important.
important.
It is
We need
on the
to-
top
I
left.
have a
Come on.
question. I have
Yeah.
a question for everybody. I just was curious since you're talking about me. Do you think I'm pretty?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Tomie,
I
you are
actually
the
You're so
most
pretty,
beautiful.
Tomie.
I do.
This is
I
so
You are the
actually do.
most
stupid.
You're
beautiful.
If I'm being
pretty.
honest, I do. I do.
Yes.
woman
I just
in the
read
world.
like 2,000 pages of Ito stuff to talk about it. Can we get Tomie like this?
You read
is,
2,000
you guys are
pages,
being so
you should be
fucking
like-
weird.
No.
Wait, where
Where'd you
Tomie
go?
Thank
where
you,
Tomie
God.
go? Where
Wow.
Tomie
I got
go?
security to kick her.
Tomie.
That's kind of a bummer.
Shannon.
I hope she comes
All right.
back.
Do you guys think Tomie do you think Tomie would liked me?
No, she hated you, Jack. I can clearly
Jesus.
tell that she
She
hated
obviously-
your
He
guts.
was looking at me.
Wow.
It was me.
Looking at me.
Wow.
She likes me because I'm the coolest. I have the best lights. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I guess
I think we maybe lost Shannon, which is
Here.
what happens. Oh, there we go. There we go.
You get
Well,
for kicking out Tomie.
I was like, wow, yeah.
that was weird, right?
Can we please
Like,
talk about what we came to talk about on the
Yeah,
fucking panel?
Shannon,
and
I
y'all
just
not
want-
be horny at a
Shannon,
teenager?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what.
I'm
came
sorry
over
for
me.
being horny at a teenager.
Yeah,
Shannon. I apologize.
I don't want to be on a podcast on a panel where people are horny about a teenager. It's
I'm
weird.
sorry.
Shannon,
Talk about
sorry.
Uzumaki.
It's at least it's a
Sorry.
Japanese manga
Oh,
podcast. It's a manga
Yeah.
panel, so it's
It is on. It is on brand technically.
We
but,
see you, we hear you, we're growing,
We're
and we're
growing.
listening.
We're,
And
we're
we're
let's,
listening.
let's just move on.
We're gonna do
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Let's talk about Uzumaki.
I'd make
Yay.
Yeah, just a little bit more Tomie. All the
Okay.
Tomie.
Can
Yeah.
we? Can I control the slideshow? Is this enough? Can we stop talking about
all right,
Tomie?
all right. We'll move
All right,
on.
all
We'll
right,
move
all
on.
right.
Thank you. God.
All right.
Oh, the fashion model.
All right. So I found this is another recurring character, not as beautiful as Tomie, but I
Striking
love.
in her
You
own
take
way.
that back. She's a queen.
She is a queen. and
She is a
she's-
queen.
She's
Tell me I did
huge.
nothing wrong.
It's true.
But she is a queen. She is tall. Like I really like that first story. One thing I love about Junji Ito, because I lived in the countryside of Japan in Yamanashi, which is where Mount Fuji is, which is also where the Suicide Forest is. So a ton of Japanese horror is set there, and it is very creepy. And so these guys drive out in a van with this creepy woman who is apparently this world famous supermodel, and they kind of just go with it. They're like, she kind of looks weird and she's like 8 feet tall, but like maybe this is what they like in Paris now.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny that they're like, well, like, she's a model, dude. Like,
And I wanted to talk, since we were talking about Tomie, we have to get into one of the other things Junji is really, really known for: body horror. Some of
Yeah.
the grossest body horror you can imagine. I am literally averting my eyes from this story.
Do you have the thing
like,
about holes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lotus Pod. What's it called?
can you not say that word,
Oh,
Chad? Like,
no,
I
no.
literally shivered. I literally am shivering looking at the
lotus
story
thing.
shivering and you saying the H
Lamprey.
word. Oh God, it is so. Oh great. Oh sorry. We have been ignoring our chat. I've been popping your stuff up there, but thank you so much, kind people, for watching and chatting. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to interrupt us or interject.
it unfortunately covers Lana's screen.
Oh,
but,
I know her pretty lights.
yeah.
yeah,
but-
It's okay.
yeah.
I get
There we go.
There we go.
Yay.
That's the better. That's
yeah,
the better
that is
screen for
correct,
it.
Greg. There is a certain.
It's true.
Yeah, it is true. Like really beautiful people with like I remember the woman from
I've been told this about myself. Yes, thank you.
the woman from David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, the woman who like pops up covered in like black stuff and like she's
Oh, sure. Yeah.
if you actually look at pictures, and she plays the nun too in those horror movies as well, but if you look at actual pictures of her, she looks like really strikingly beautiful, very different but very like striking and beautiful. And I
Yeah, sometimes beautiful women are 8 feet tall and have multiple rows of teeth, and there's sort of a beautiful uniqueness to that.
yeah,
That's my part.
Yeah, shiver that one because I really do have like tryptophobia. Like I even pick out the grossest like sections from this.
On her arm. And when they talk about the bugs getting in the holes, I was like, I don't have trypophobia. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm not very squeamish, but I was like,
Yeah, no, that does me in for sure. The bug stuff.
the bugs going in the holes all over. That's
There
very
are
bad.
little details, though, and I say this because my background's animal education. So I always really enjoy when he takes something a little like based in actual biology and applies it. So, and he said he was inspired by that because, cockroaches have spiracles, and they're basically holes on the sides of them. The think of those hissing cockroaches. I'm done.
She's done. It's okay. You're fine. You're
Good, you're good.
See, I just can't hear it. Jesus Christ. All right.
I won't go into detail, but I do appreciate when he kind of takes things in nature, we're like, and then he kind of goes there. And I mean, there's always like scary balloons, but sometimes when something's a little more rooted and things that are a little more based, it's just a little more unnerving.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So, and there's another one.
Greased oil.
My
General
flame.
sliminess.
So greased oil
Right.
is the one that actually did make me feel like a little nauseous
Yeah,
while
tell
I
us
was
about
reading
it, Jack.
it.
Tell me about it, Jack.
So greased oil, first of all, just as a piece, like, there's so much, it just does feel oily, and he does all of this with like just black ink. You know what I mean? There's just hatching and everything like that. But this is a story about a family that like grows up above some sort of little restaurant, and so their whole place is greasy and oily, and her dad is always oily, and her brother like drinks salad oil like because he loves oil so much, and then his face gets covered in pimples, and
This is
he
just a
like
regular keto family, though.
I'm sorry,
This is just a regular keto
Keto
family.
family.
this is true. Yeah,
I was
this is
about to say there's actually
Atkins.
Atkins. I was about to say there was I forget his name. I forget which one it was, but there was a serial killer. Maybe it was Ed Kemper, but he would gross out his family because how he would eat everything is he would just slather it in olive oil, no matter what it was, and
Oh,
slurp
that's
it
so
up.
weird.
The thing
Strange.
I was thinking of is when Jared Leto played, I don't remember, it was like a shit movie, no one saw it, but he's like played like the dude who killed John Lennon, so he was trying to put on weight, and he did it by eating ice cream mixed with olive oil. Yeah.
That's
I
ice
thought
cream,
of that the entire time I was reading this damn
Oil
thing.
is just so gross. He gets above her face, and we're seeing it right there. He like squeezes all the pimples onto her face,
And
and
it's the solid, the whitehead kind. That's the
The
thing. I'm like, I
white-
watch
the
enough like
long-
gross out comedies where it's like, pimple, but like something about the solidness. I'm like,
he squeezes his entire face like from the sides. It is too much. Oil is so gross of a story.
I'm
Greased
gonna
oil.
go, you guys. I feel like I have to exfoliate my face. Just
Talked about sleeping on, like he was sleeping on cots that weren't cleaned, and they had like different people's like body oils from years and years and years in the crease, and I'm like, I would put a sheet down. I would not be able to sleep on that.
Junji,
Touching my skin.
we're worried about you.
I would put a plastic tarp down and sleep on plastic rather than like decades of skin oil.
Oil.
Like rancid, nasty.
Gross. All right.
And one of his cute little asides, he talked about it.
I know.
All right, so another element of Ito I want to bring in, and this is his H.P. Lovecraft influence, and that's some of his cosmic horror.
Oh yeah.
This story, Long Dream, one of my favorite, possibly my favorite Junji Ito short story. It's about a dude who like just loves like having dreams, like having dope as
I'm with it.
dreams. He
I
like does
agree.
a dab
Sleep
like,
rocks.
right before he goes to bed, and he is just gone for sometimes for hours, then days, then weeks. And then when it starts creeping you out is when it starts to be centuries and millennia. And he's living all these long lifespans every time he goes to sleep. And his body starts changing into this, I don't know, this,
Alien thing. Yeah.
alien, like post-human thing because he's exploring worlds and gaining knowledge in his dreams that far surpass anything that human body is meant to process.
So good.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
I liked it because I feel like it has, sometimes the endings are really like, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain because I don't think like cosmic horror is beautiful, but there's something, like I said, kind of like lovely about that, because the whole point of the other, girl is she's just terrified of death. Like she cannot accept the fact that she's dying, and she's just like having like an absolute like crisis over it, because she's like, my life ends. And there's something I find like almost kind of lovely, which everything describes Junji Ito comics as,
Yeah.
He puts crystals in her brain.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
It's one of my bittersweet stories because like non-resolution is a pretty common like feature of Junji Ito stories.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's almost kind of sweet because this person has found a way to kind of escape death, like through the unconscious. And she sort of kind of hangs suspended in a limbo for as long as she wants it to, I suppose.
Yeah. Will mentions that there's actually a short film on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
About a long dream. So I haven't checked it out yet, but I would like to. There's been a few Junji Ito live action adaptations, which we'll get to in a second. Alex, what are you doing here? Everyone, Alex Patak of
Hey, what's going
Poddam
on?
America. What's going on, man? Did somebody invite you here to talk about Junji Ito? It's good seeing you, brother.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, man, I haven't seen any of you guys in a while, man. It's so crazy. I didn't know you guys were gonna be here. Is Tomie here?
No, tell
she's
me
not.
anymore.
No.
She
Do you
left.
know where she is? Do you actually know where she is?
Yeah, why
Do
did you?
Hide that from us.
I thought I don't know. I heard she was here.
No, she wasn't. You're
Tomie was
wrong.
here.
No.
No. Well,
So did you come on to talk about Junji Ito, or did you come on to talk to Tomie?
No, I just kind of wandered in, man. This is. I wish she was here because she would kind of clarify it. But
If
we
you
went
do
to
know
school
where
together.
Tomie is, I actually do think she would clear
Jack,
stuff up.
can
If what?
you
I'm
please,
sorry?
Jack? Can you
Okay.
please? Yeah.
I wish she was here, but
Yeah,
we were in
me
school
too.
together for a while in like 2007, and I thought we made some bonds.
Well, Alex, did you have anything? You're a podcaster. You're an anime expert. I really, do you want to talk about Junji Ito maybe since you're here? Do you have anything to add about the actual panel?
I would like to talk with Tomie, maybe about whatever she wants to talk about. But
Okay, well, that's not happening. So, fucking knife! Oh my god! Don't worry. All right.
I get it.
Jesus
All right.
Christ!
I get it. I get that feel. I get that
Creep.
feeling.
I just
Who
It's
am I?
I would kill for Tomie.
Jesus!
it's okay. It's not a big deal. But being sandwiched between the both of them made me a little uncomfortable.
Weird. All right.
Is this just what struggle session is going to be now? Do I need to quit the shift if y'all are just like trying to kill a Japanese teenager?
Hey! We told you. We're learning. We're growing. We see you. We feel you. We're working on it.
We're working. All right. So we'll get back to the show.
I'm going to do a
Back-
call out post when we get off of this. Okay.
Back to the show. All right. So, Long Dream. And then, the magnum opus. Uzumaki. One of, the most wild, bizarre, brilliant, amazing comics I've ever read. It really just absolutely blew me away. Even though I had been a Junji Ito fan for quite a while, this made me just like I was just in awe when I finished.
Yeah,
it.
this is like the masterwork. It really is.
And,
It's-
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think this panel we're kind of talking a lot about Junji Ito, but I think if you really want to boil it down, I think it comes down to someone's like, I've never read Junji Ito and I'd like to. Where would I start? And I think there's definitely, like a lot of the short stories we've said, I think they're all worth checking out. But I think if you have the means and the time to read all of Uzumaki, I think it really kind of encapsulates the stories that Junji Ito tells. And I think it's very much kind of a testament to kind of like just kind of everything, the grotesquity, the body horror, the cosmic horror, the kind of commentary on, I think, collective trauma. You know, I think a lot of people growing up in Japan like have experienced. I think all of it kind of encompasses. So I'd say, like, yeah, if you only got like 20 minutes to kill, like, you know, there's a bunch of other short stories out there. But if you got the time, like, for sure, Uzumaki, if you're just going to read one of his things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Alana, what did you think of Uzumaki?
I love Uzumaki. I mean, so my personal favorite obviously is Gyo, but I think that Uzumaki has earned its place, and I understand why it's the favorite for a lot of people. It does bring together all of the best elements of Ito, and one of the most striking things about it for me. So, like, it was one of those things where I read a bunch of short stories, and then I devoured Gyo, and I think I read Uzumaki after that. And one of the things that really sticks out to me about the story is the fact that the people in the town, you don't know this at first, there's like a bit of dramatic irony, but the people in the town know that the town is cursed.
Yeah.
And have known the whole time that the town is cursed and have just not bothered to tell their children. So it's this thing that's kind of like simmering kind of under the surface and comes up. And it's just sort of a thing people take for granted. Oh, every 100 years or whatever it is, this is just going to happen. No one does anything about it.
Yeah, Will, Milt makes a great point how the story itself is shaped and told like a spiral, because it starts with the typical Junji Ito short little horror story. One bad thing's happened to a person. Someone finds a snail and gets obsessed with it and turns into snail. Snail Boy is probably one of the more famous ones. A girl gets very beautiful. Her hair. Gets very obsessed with her hair, and she gets curls in her hair that are spirally, and it ultimately ends up destroying her. And it keeps going where you have all these short stories, but you realize that this is all happening to one town. All these lives are being destroyed next to each other, right? Like everybody is suffering their own, trauma, their own nightmare, which is, very identifiable. Now, Uzumaki is another good COVID read, and because it is infectious. And people, try to fight it, but they're completely, like no institution is able to fight it. They're not able to work to get together enough people to fight it. They can't leave. There's no real escape. It's just this horror that they have to live with. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger until it literally reshapes the town. And then, as you see in our background, it's kind of the end story where you just see like this huge cavern of like these spirals, and they're just these ethereal eldritch entities, and there's no explanation for them ever in the story. You never know where the shape comes from or why it's so destructive. It just is, and all these people kind of get churned up in it.
Yeah, so like the town itself becomes a spiral. The terrain becomes a spiral. You can't leave because when you try to leave, you just loop back to where you started. So there's this idea of it being a thing that's like both has no clear origin point and is also self-perpetuating, which I think is like very, for not just COVID, like COVID is like the most obvious, I guess, example. I don't know why it's the Lana stream all of a sudden, but all right.
Oh, sorry.
I felt like I was doing my show. But it's not just COVID, but I think so much of what makes us feel alienated about society, like there are these like big forces that have huge impacts all over our lives that are not really well articulated or well understood. And they feel so oppressive that there's no way to actually fight them. There's no point of attack for them, really. There's like this point. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring up Mark's. There's this.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yes.
There's this thing in Capital where he describes capitalism not as a circuit, but as a spiral. That is a thing that keeps reproducing itself, and it reproduces itself into its own destruction because eventually it runs out of frontiers to conquer. and I think that's like a really interesting metaphor for kind of understanding these like big hegemonic oppressive systems that just reproduce themselves, that are absorb everything and everybody, and don't. It's not like a clear enemy you can attack all at once.
Yeah, like there's almost nothing you can do. Silver Yellowtail mentions in the chat that there is going to be anime series in 2021 from Toonami. I can say that I did ask someone from Toonami to come on, but they weren't able to share anything just yet. But hopefully we'll be able to give you a struggle session exclusive in the future about Uzumaki. But if Jack, sorry for putting you on the spot, but if you can pull up the trailer for Uzumaki,
sure.
and we can check that out right
I was having issues with the audio, but I will try my best here.
if you
we can at
share
least see
the
video.
tab, yeah, I think if you share the tab, it lets you do
Save the audio. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Give me just one sec here. I think we'll be able to get it. Well, I have to watch an ad first, so I won't make everyone watch that with me.
What's that? What's the ad for?
It's World Series Championship hoodies from Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So, that's
You're
pretty good.
Does
I live in
he
a
know,
red state, so I keep getting ads like, this senator will give everyone free health care. Stop it.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. Living in Georgia. Yeah.
I just had to reinstall Windows today, so I haven't seen ads on YouTube in a very long time. It's bad. It's really bad. They'll make you watch like a 2-minute ad. Anyway, here's the Uzumaki trailer. If
Okay. All right.
Is the sound working or no?
No sound. No
we
sound.
can't hear Tom.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Let me. Like I said, I had to reinstall Windows today, so things are kind of having an issue over
Let
here.
me pull it up.
I can send you the link in the private chat right here.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yay.
Sorry, everybody at home. This is very unprofessional. I had to reinstall Windows today.
Jack, come
Yeah,
on.
you
I
tried.
know. I'm
Let me
terrible.
No.
All right. And I think we're good.
Yeah, there we go. We got audio.
Ooh.
Oh, I like the look. Is it black and white?
I don't know.
I think it will. I think it might be.
I kind of hope they do, because there was that kind of mediocre anime series, and just the color kind of doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Or even if they just go like monochrome, it'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Junji
Oh, that
Ito
looks
collection
awesome.
anime is okay, but it's not the best thing. But a lot of people do like it. The hardcore fans work too. Oh, Tub Dad.
Oh. R.I.P. to a real one.
Oh, that looks so good.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that looks
awesome.
Good.
Tub Dad. That was a hard guy to kill.
Wow. Yeah, that looks great.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah.
Now,
Spooky voice.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the show was supposed to come out this year, and it got delayed because of everything going on with the pandemic.
Yes, that is correct. So it is going to be 2021 before we get to see the Uzumaki anime, but it is really cool so far. But we're almost out of time, so I just want to ask everybody, what are some of their best and worst, some of their faves that we haven't talked about today? Lana, what's your so you talked about Gyo being your favorite. Were there any other stories that we didn't talk about today that you really like?
There was another one that I'm not sure if it's in the folder somewhere. I can't seem to recall the exact title. I think it's called The Mystery of the Tunnel, something like that. But I'm going to actually look up the title so I can get it for you.
Oh yeah, please do. Oh, someone in the chat asked about the video game inspired by Junji Ito, World of Horror.
Yeah,
is that game, and that's a really cool game from what I've seen so far. It is out now too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I brought it up before.
The Story of the Mysterious Tunnel. so pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Story. Yeah. Which one? So what happens in that one?
So it's part of Shiver, I'm pretty sure. So it's this like tunnel that absorbs people's souls, and it's very kind of similar to Amigara Fault. It's like this war era tunnel that's like haunted. Yeah. And like some kids like get lost in it. And like have their kind of souls kind of absorbed by it, and it just sort of becomes this like community of specters that haunt the tunnel.
Yeah, kids are not off limits in Junji
No.
Ito.
No.
Kids can get fucked up in Junji Ito.
Babies.
I'm also really a big fan. Another one of the short stories I like, The Whispering Woman, I think it was called.
Oh yeah, that one's really good.
That one's really good.
Oh yeah, I like one of the ones I really was that the same one with the record player where the woman dies while she's being recorded.
Those are two different ones.
Those
but
are
they're
two.
both good.
See,
That one's good too, though.
Yeah, that was good too. Emma, what's some of your favorites?
I mean, I don't want to I was gonna say Lana Ray said Gyo, which I love because Street Sharks. I honestly am trying to think because like it seems they kind of blend together. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying because we read them in 48 hours. The one I liked, and like I said, I never remember the titles because they're all like the bad share or the balloon in the sky. And then you're like, oh no. So mine's the bird one. And that's very vague, but yeah, Shannon knows.
Blackbird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that was one of the earlier ones I was reading. So I feel like I kind of didn't understand, I think, the level of like absolute horror that Junji Ito was ready to go to. And just kind of the twist with that and kind of what ends up being. And it's just kind of that weird, like I said, like he always has that little cusp where you're like, this is a scary story because it's about a spooky bird woman. And then you're like, no, it's cosmic horror. So that one like kind of stuck with me because, auto cannibalism. Yeah.
Shannon?
Like I said, I like the cat book a lot for non-scary reasons. But reading a bunch of them in the past like couple days, I had never read The Melting Classroom, the two evil siblings, the pervert brother and the demon child, and the
Dissolved series, right?
Yes, yeah, the dissolving apartment, all that. Because I knew that like sex was an element of Ito's work, but just like the really bizarre masochist brother who communes with Satan by apologizing and like gets off like
It's so good.
Bizarre sex pervert stuff that has never, it doesn't make me like, I don't know. You can take that to a certain level where it feels dehumanizing, especially to women, or there's something that's like too uncomfortable about it for me personally, especially with sexual assault. I never felt like he did that. I love that. It's so weird and so it's like this little demon child that likes to drink people turned into grease, and her brother who melts people's brains by apologizing to them. And I was like, this is amazing.
It's a story about cancel culture.
Oh yeah, his apology video, his note screenshot kills a bunch of people. It's great. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Jack, did I already ask you?
I was going to say that we didn't really get to talk about Hellstar Remina today, and I just really love Planet Remina as a villain. If we're talking about like best monsters, best villains, like the planet itself, like from the beginning of it being like, the planet is turning and making a heading toward Earth to, what actually it ends up being in the end. I really just found like, the living villain planet Remina, to be such like a interesting and compelling villain.
Yeah. All right. So we're at 1 minute left. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching our panel. You can find us on at sesh.plus for Struggle Session. Lana, where can people find you and your work?
You can find me on Twitter at mechapoetic. I mostly just get myself into trouble over there. I stream at the Freak Museum on Twitch, usually on Wednesdays, like Wednesday evenings. And that's like a stream where I just play like weird, obscure stuff that's either unknown or forgotten. And I'm like a freelance writer, so sometimes you'll catch me in like Motherboard or something or other. So that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and everyone else, Emma, where can people find you? You just started a new podcast.
Yes. So on Twitter, you can find me at Hyenas and Gin. So the animal, the connecting word, and the alcoholic beverage. Yes, me and my partner just started up our own little humble podcast called Ape Tour Theory. We basically watch movies in which primates show up and talk about them from both a filmmaking and an animal education background. So we will see how it goes.
And that's great. And Shannon?
You can find me on Twitter at Plenty of Alcoves. On YouTube, I do video essays under Strucci Movies. I'm a player on the teen superhero body horror podcast, Critical Bits, at Critical Bitcast, and of course, Struggle Sessions at Struggle Sesh on Twitter.
And you can find Jack at twitch.tv/JackAM every single morning. Wonderful.
That's right. And Struggle Sesh. More importantly, Sesh.plus. Go sign up at Sesh.plus.
And Alex Patak, if you've calmed down, where can people find you?
Is Tomie here or not? Because I can't.
All right, you can find him at patreon.com/PodDamnAmerica for one
I
of his
don't see
podcasts.
her anywhere.
And Dragon
There's
Ball
6
Super,
people, and I saw her
another
before.
wonderful podcast that
I
he
saw her
hosts.
earlier.
Everyone, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
checking us out. Thank you to all our panelists and guests. Thank you to our Tomie, which I am going to pull up right now. Sorry, 1 second, because I want to give her full credit. She was so wonderful, so incredibly wonderful.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
she was great.
Violet as Tomie. You can find her on Twitch and on Instagram at vy.cos. That's vviolet as Tomie. Thank you so much for watching Struggle Session. Have a good HorrorCon. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.